Anyways, welcome to What on Earth 1. I'm your host, Christian Kappel, and this is my co-host.
Paola Castillo.
Oh, very formal, very nice.
Thank you. I am studying to be a journalist.
And
He's a comms major.
I'm a comms major.
So he's average.
I don't know what to do with it.
He doesn't know what to do with his life.
Still, my life is not set up.
And if you hear creaking in the background, that's because we're recording this in his garage, which is like 1,000 years old.
Not 1,000. It's also a very windy day here in California.
Yeah.
But anyways, to introduce ourselves, like you said, I'm a comms major, but I'm also been...
A major nerd.
Oh, I am, yes, a major nerd. I've been a huge fan of DC for most of my life. I've only recently been getting into the comics. In the last 3 or 4 years, I've been reading comics. So I'm a little versed. I'm very well versed in the current stuff, but I am versed in most of the older animated stuff, TV and movies and such. Well, yes, you said you're a journalist, studying to be a journalist, so that research skills will come in handy in future endeavors.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a major hero nerd, but no. I do like my video games and comics and all that. I don't read comics like you do. That is for sure.
I bought you Bombshell issues. You haven't.
Okay, yes. But I haven't really gone out myself and gotten it, except for the first Bombshell issue.
Did you even finish that one?
No. I meant to, but I haven't yet.
But also, we would like to thank you for tuning in, either friends or family. Mostly, probably at the start, will be friends or family.
Or strangers.
Strangers, hopefully. And long-term strangers. First-time strangers, long-term friends.
What? Also, I should preface this by saying I forget everything very easily. So if he makes a reference to something in this episode and next episode I'm like, wait, but what happens? And then he's just like, this happens. I told you. I'm going to be like, oh, yeah. So expect that a lot from me.
It will make me frustrated. You will hear me go, I have to do this again.
But he came back, so.
Oh, my God. We're not getting into this.
We're getting into
this.
No,
we're not getting into this.
Okay. So I guess we should start before it's too late. The way we're going to determine what topics we're going to talk about is by doing who's most likely to questions, and then from there the person who quote unquote wins choose from a deck of cards that I made that have the different topics we're going to be talking about. So I guess to say it's video games, and then Disney, politics, TV, movies, or DC, and then within the deck of cards we also have free choice or loser choice. Okay, so okay,
random number
8.
My favorite number.
So it's gonna probably be you. So the question is, who's most likely to watch romantic movies? Christian.
No, you are.
Name one romantic movie I've watched.
I don't know, because I don't know romantic movies. You know why?
You watch Riverdale.
That's not a romantic
That's
movie.
A cringe fest.
That's a TV show and was very popular. I don't know if it's still held
is
its popularity. Oh, cool.
Okay, fine. Are we going to say me?
Yes, you.
Jesus Christ. Okay, right. Shuffle those.
Pick a card, any card. The mic.
Oh, loser choice, so you choose.
I was the loser? Oh.
You choose the topic then.
Well, then, started off with a banger, DC.
Okay. All right.
There has literally today news about a DC endeavor, Titans season 3, casting Oracle. I don't know what her name was again. Let me look it up.
We have laptops. Well, I think it's great. I mean, is the actress in a wheelchair already?
No, she has a prosthetic leg.
Oh, do you think they'll make her be in a wheelchair?
She was stunt training in a wheelchair. Well, like sitting down.
Okay,
without her prosthetic.
Then yeah, probably. Because Oracle... So I guess in the meantime, talk about Oracle and why this is meaningful, I guess.
Oracle is, well, Barbara Gordon, for starters.
And who's...
The original Batgirl. And then after a incident where the Joker shot her,
Spoilers.
in her own house, severed her spine, and she was confined to a wheelchair. But that didn't stop her from her hero work, so she decided to help other heroes with behind a computer. So she doesn't. A lot of people don't know that she doesn't actually just help Batman. She helps a
Well,
lot
doesn't
of
she
people.
mostly help Nightwing?
No, she helps lots
The whole
of
Bat
people.
family?
Not just the whole Bat family, but even some of the Birds of Prey and just the Justice League from time to time. At least in the older comics.
Okay.
But now, Oracle, she doesn't go by Oracle anymore, because she's Batgirl again. She has an implant in her spine that allows her to walk again.
Why didn't they do that initially?
I don't know, because I don't know.
It would have added more substance.
They did this in New 52, okay?
And then they redid the whole thing, and.
But actually, because I just started reading. I finished. Well, I got to a point where I was done reading Batgirl, the Rebirth one, and I'm now reading Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, and that one's starting up that someone else is Oracle. Well, someone else is taking up the name Oracle and is helping criminal families now.
Okay.
And I haven't read it yet, but I know in Year of the Villain event, Oracle, I don't know if this is from Birds of Prey, but she's literally a person that's attacking Batgirl. And I don't know if she's a because she looks all future-y and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a program come to life or that's that
kind of like Vision.
Yeah, or that's a what is it? What am I speaking of? A person in a costume. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Also, she's whose daughter?
Jim Gordon's.
Who has a murderer's son, apparently.
Yeah, James Jr.
So this is kind of something, because we've kind of talked about this before, where, they cast people who fit the role. And this is kind of like what you wanted, which is not changing the character, but just fitting it and choosing someone who fits the character as they were normally created.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate that. This is so messed up. I don't hate that she's an amputee.
What?
Well, cause you could just cast someone, a regular person, they just be in a wheelchair, or you cast someone that is confined to a wheelchair. But an amputee, that adds another layer. But Titans is already a completely different show on how they're treating the characters.
How so?
Well, who's one big example? I mean, Dick could be an example, but it's also not at the same time.
He doesn't have black hair.
He doesn't have black hair. I'm triggered.
And blue eyes, or does he have blue eyes?
I think Dick has blue eyes.
Doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Most of them have blue eyes.
They're all white.
Duke Thomas is not white.
Or Starfire.
Oh,
which I still have a
I was
problem
talking
with
about
her.
Duke Thomas is another member of the Bat family. He's sick.
Oh, but we're talking about Titans,
okay,
the show.
Titan. All right. Well, Dick Grayson, he's a cop in the show. Well, he was a cop for the first few episodes, and then he's doing something else or whatever. But Dick was also a cop in the comics, way back when. Except he was a detective. Well, no, he's a detective in this one, and in the comics he was just a regular beat cop in Bloodhaven. But even in the Titan show, the tornado. Even in the show, he's not even in Bloodhaven. I don't think.
I'm starting to think that recording in the garage is not a good idea.
I asked you, we could record somewhere else now.
Anyways, you still haven't found it?
No, I don't know who she is.
I bet you I can 100% find that information faster.
Try me, bitch. I just went on Variety straight up.
Savannah Welch.
How did you? Damn it.
For the record, I just went to Google and looked up Titans amputee. That was literally the easiest way.
Savannah Welch will be Barbara Gordon, a.k.a. Oracle, a.k.a. Batgirl, a.k.a. person. But yeah, Savannah Welch, a new Barbara Gordon. Well, I wouldn't say new because there hasn't been a Barbara Gordon in a while, a live action one at least.
When was the last time that you remember?
There was Batman and Robin, the movie with George Clooney. There was also the Birds of Prey TV show. There was a live-action Birds of Prey TV show. You can watch it on DC Universe for now until they treat DC Universe Infinite.
We'll talk about that after because I'm curious.
I don't know if I'm signed up. I thought I did, but...
I asked you, it automatically happens with my account.
It didn't automatically happen. They asked me, and I thought I was yeah, I'll do it. But then they sent me an email, Switch it now before it's too late. They're changing on the 21st, by the way.
Okay, proceed.
So there's, I guess, that, as to my knowledge, that would make her the third live-action Barbara Gordon. Well, actually, I think in the Birds of Prey TV show, she was Oracle in that show. She was in a wheelchair, I think.
Wait, but okay, was she introduced in the previous season at all?
No.
So how do you think they'll go about introducing
I mean,
her?
most of the...
Because her losing her ability to walk, and the story in itself, which is right when he's taking photos of her, and then it's like that whole.
Well,
like,
they don't
it
have to
just
include that.
Well, no, but like her torment and him including Gordon in it and all of that. I feel like that's key to the story.
No, not necessarily. They kind of always brush it. Like currently, they always brush like, oh yeah,
I
she
feel
got
like DC
shot.
was like, that was a little too much. So let's
They
just...
don't have to commit to the killing joke aspect of it.
Okay, I was just because that's how I was introduced to her like that.
Yeah.
So I would feel like that's a key part, but I feel like that's mostly just Batman, Gordon, and Joker, which has nothing to do with the Titans, at least for this show.
No, we haven't. We've only seen Joker once in that show, and that was in like a dream sequence thing, and it was just his corpse.
Was it Jared Leto?
No, I don't know. I forget who they cast for it. I think it was just a nobody, because literally in the first season they cast a stuntman as Batman for the first season, and then they casted
he's gonna be able to put on his resume like
was Batman.
portrayed Batman, and it's like, oh, like how, tell me about that.
I wanted to say that's probably not an uncommon thing to be cast as. Batman stunt double.
No, but just he puts cast as Batman, and then they're like, oh, tell me about more playing Batman.
Season 1 Batman.
It's like, oh, like what Batman did you play?
Well, he was Bruce, but he.
But like from what show?
Oh, from Titans. I was in season 1. I had no speaking lines, and they didn't even show my face.
It's like, oh, okay.
So that was that news. The other news was Wonder Woman 84 came out.
Mm-hmm.
And
life is good,
but it can be better. Maxwell Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say that's like the first ever live action Maxwell Lord, because it's not.
What was funny is the day we watched that movie, we had just seen that one guy with the eyebrows and the white hair. The guy he talks to, who's like his investor.
Oh, Simon Stagg?
Yeah. We were watching Justice League. And
yeah, we were watching Justice League Animated, and Simon Stagg showed up in an episode. And then we watched the movie, and then Simon Stagg's in it, and we're like, oh, it's... First time I heard of Simon Stagg was in Batman Arkham Knight, actually.
The movie?
The game.
The game. Okay.
Yes. But, okay, I was going to say, Pedro Pascal is not the first live-action Maxwell Lord.
But the best one, in my opinion.
I'm trying to think, because the only other one I've seen, there's probably others, because DC is so big, around for nearly 100 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There's bound to be a bunch of stuff. But there was Maxwell Lord in Supergirl, the CW show. He was in the first season, which I would say that this one was a lot closer to the comics than the Supergirl one was.
Hmm.
For start, the Supergirl one, he kind of had the xenophobic kind of thing, but like literally xenophobic with literal aliens. Because that's the whole premise of the show, like, because a lot of the CW shows like to deal with, like current stuff and kind of be woke, and people like guys, Supergirl as the social justice warrior and her fans.
It's because she doesn't know the highs and lows of high school football.
I claim to like Riverdale, but you quote it more than I do.
Because those are the famous ones. Or what's the other one? I'm weird. I'm a weirdo.
You see me out with this stupid hat. It's ridiculous.
It's so cringy.
But honestly, like, I keep forgetting about that Maxwell Lord from Supergirl, because...
I mean, wasn't the show all in all forgettable? Because I feel like it's not really referenced at all.
It's a little bit forgettable.
Yeah.
I've seen 3 seasons, and I don't remember a lot from it.
Okay. Except Maxwell Lord.
Maxwell Lord, of course. But even then, I forgot.
Not even the main character, just Maxwell Lord, who was in the first season.
Because Maxwell Lord's an interesting character.
He
He's a really cool
is.
character.
But, like, I don't know. Go ahead.
But yeah, a lot of people don't want to do a copy paste of something, because I guess they could be called lazy for doing that. But people want to see copy paste sometimes,
for characters.
Yeah, they want to see their
Definitely.
characters come.
Like when you showed me what he actually looks like in the comics, I was like, why didn't they make him like that? That would have been so much cooler.
Yeah, he's got a cool freaking holster where he holds his gun. He's got a black shirt, black pants.
Yeah.
Skin tight shirt. See his
Ooh.
pecs. They're only like homage they pretty much did in the movie was the nosebleed.
But even then, they didn't do his powers correct.
No, they did not do his powers.
Maybe towards the end, because he could hear everybody.
I guess you could say.
But I don't know if that was like for the movie purpose.
I think that was just for plot, strictly for the
Okay.
plot standpoint. I mean, maybe you could argue that they did it. He's like, look, see, he's hearing everyone. He's a telepath, kind of.
Yeah, I feel like they forgot about the telepathy, and they're like, "Oh crap, how do we do this?"
Well, it's because the whole thing with Max is that he sees himself as human. So I can understand not having him with powers, considering he wasn't with powers a lot of the time during his introduction. He got the powers later after the Dominator event, where the Dominators came in, wanted to study the metagene, and a lot of people got superpowers because of that, because it activated a sleeping metagene in them. Because the way it works in that universe is that you're either born with it, made with it, or divinely touched. So like for like 3 examples right off the bat are Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Flash. Aquaman was born with his metahuman mutation. Flash was created with his metahuman mutation, and Wonder Woman was, divinely created with her metahuman mutation. So, but
Okay.
I think you could argue that maybe Barry had it, like in his DNA, it was just dormant, and it needed something to.
Which would be the electricity, right?
The bolt of lightning that was actually him would go in the future and when he went back in time and all the whole thing.
Was he his own lightning bolt?
Yes. That's the whole Crisis on Infinite Earths event when he died.
Okay.
When he destroyed the antimatter cannon.
Wait, so okay, sidetrack. How did he go back in time and create himself?
So the way it happened, because when he died, where he died, he entered the Speech Force, as all speedsters do when they die. But in that event, there was like some event that happened. Well, like it was just explained that it was like a cycle. In that event where he died, he was able to become like the manifestation of that lightning bolt and travel to that point in time where he got struck and basically struck himself. But I want to say that's probably retconned at this point.
Okay.
That was just a thing, like post-crisis or pre-crisis,
Got it.
as all things are in the DC universe.
I mean, messed up a storyline? Crisis. That's what I've learned.
It's not like that. It's more like a lot of times, the first ever time, which I want to say was Infinite Crisis. I don't know which Crisis was first, but the first time was because the DC universe was so big at that point.
They needed to kind of.
They wanted to condense it. So, like, with like the multiverse, it was just so big and it was out of control, and it was just getting hard for readers. At least from my understanding, that it was just simpler to just get rid of it. So they made a whole event. It brought everyone from all the multiple universes to fight the Anti-Monitor, and at the end of that, the multiverse was gone, and it was just one Earth, and those people from the other Earths were on that Earth.
Okay.
Basically just condensing the multiverse into one Earth and having all those histories together. Because mostly it was combining like Golden Age and Silver Age stuff. Like Jay and Barry, they existed on one Earth and they knew each other and they like talked to each other and all that. And it was condensed to one Earth.
Like it was kind of like he was first, he was second, and all that. Like it wasn't different Earths.
It wasn't just different Earths, and they're like different versions of them. So like it was done to like make it easier, and then it was undone to allow people, I guess, to make stories again.
Oh my
to
God.
make different stories, because like people want to have fun with these characters, but you don't want to affect the canon. So the best way to do that is to just do it on a different Earth.
Elseworld.
Yeah, do an Elseworld story. That's how you have fun. That's why I love the multiverse so much.
Oh my God.
You can have fun with all these characters, do whatever you want with them, and you don't make people angry, basically.
Well, I mean, maybe, because sometimes people can find like, yeah, it's another world, but they still find an inconsistency of sorts. Kinda. At least I think so.
I think of it because like a different Earth is a clean start. It doesn't need to have all this history in it. They can make their own history. Like that's where you get Red Sun and um where the Earth where the Nazis won, and you have Overman and all that stuff. It's Superman but Nazi. He's Overman. But yeah, that's how you get those ones. You like make your own history and you make those, and no one can get upset because it's a different Earth. It's not connected at all. You could read it, be done, and that's it.
Okay.
While with the main continuity DC Universe, it's constantly going.
Well, in that case, this guy is completely on a different Earth because he looks nothing like the comics.
He's got blonde hair.
And did you ever come to realize what that stone is? Because
the Dreamstone? Well,
yeah.
I looked it up like when we were watching it, and it was just a thing for like Dr. Destiny, I think that's his name. He's just another villain who has like ESP and affects people's dreams.
Mm-hmm.
There's an animated Justice League animated episode about him. Okay. I don't know how much that relies on the canon, but that's the first time I've seen him, and like the only time I've seen him. He's kind of a obscure character in my eyes because I've only seen him once.
I feel like them using the Dreamstone to give him his powers was kind of a cop-out, thinking about it, because you said that for Maxwell Lord, he doesn't like metahumans, but he's a metahuman himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses his metahuman powers to get rid of metahumans, right?
Yup.
So it's kind of like, why not do that instead of the story? I feel like that's more conflicting. Why give the guy this stone? And I guess they did it because it would give a reason to bring Cheetah in. But I feel like his character is heavy enough to where you can completely keep him alone.
In my opinion, it's probably because the meta gene is not explained in this universe.
I guess.
We've only had a handful of movies, and...
Well, people know the Flash exists.
Yeah.
You could
but
say
not
that's
at that point in time, because remember that movie takes
80s,
place
right?
in the 1980s.
Yeah.
So the only
He was barely getting bored.
The only hero around is Wonder Woman, which even in the movie itself kind of conflicts with Justice League and BVS, because like the only picture of Wonder Woman in BVS was the one from the first Wonder Woman movie. Like Bruce has the picture, or like he found the picture. He's like, he sends the email, "Is this you?" And then in Justice League,
why did you say that name?
And then in Justice League, he goes like, "You've been around for how long? You could have been the symbol that Clark was. How could where did you go? You know?"
Yeah.
It's like because of Steve Trevor, blah blah. And like so, you're assuming that the Wonder Woman basically went into hiding after World War One. But then you see in Wonder Woman 84 that wasn't the case. She saved the world basically.
But not there in like the U.S., so to speak.
It was in the U.S.
Oh.
So the story took place in the U.S.
No, I know, but I thought you were referencing the picture with the head.
Oh, the picture. Oh, well, that's a different thing. That's something Zack Snyder released recently. There's more than one picture of Wonder Woman. No.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I just think that his story has enough substance to carry it on his own.
Yeah, they could have done it. It's just a way to make it easier to digest. Because if you think about it, like there's a lot of layers to Max, and a movie with two villains it makes it harder to flesh out these villains.
Then take one villain out.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I'm not at Warner Brothers. I don't know what their plan was.
Well, no, like it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like Cheetah was kind of like an extra thing thrown in there because the story seemed to focus more on Maxwell Lord overall. So it's like, why even throw Cheetah in there,
Well, those are like basically two of... I wouldn't say... It's hard to say if Max is Wonder Woman's biggest villain. He's more of a Justice League villain. But their two stories combine a lot, and they have a lot of big events like Wonder Woman killing
Then
him.
just do Cheetah.
Yeah,
Don't do
Cheetah's
Maxwell.
I don't know. I think they came up with that decision somehow. They're like... Probably first story was like, it'd be cool. We have Cheetah and Maxwell Lord.
But that doesn't make sense. Even when I saw them kind of working together, I thought it was weird. Like it just didn't make sense to me.
You obviously had to play down one because Cheetah was the powerhouse, and they couldn't make Max because he's a good fighter. He's been trained.
I would
in
rather
several-
see Maxwell Lord and Wonder Woman battle it out hand to hand than Cheetah and Wonder Woman.
Well, that's the thing. They don't usually battle hand to hand. That's the whole thing with his powers. He doesn't.
He doesn't
fight.
need to.
He doesn't need to.
That would be dope, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they didn't do it.
DC!
I love you, DC.
I don't.
Sometimes you do frustrate me, but I love you.
Sometimes.
It's
all the
sometimes.
times.
They are an infallible force. They do no wrong in my eyes. That's not true. They do wrong sometimes.
They do a lot wrong.
They do wrong.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I would give Wonder Woman like a 6 or 7, just because I feel like there was a lot of, like, for example, the beginning, the whole like Olympics or the triathlon or whatever, like I feel like that was kind of pointless.
I feel like they said that to include the character Asteria. See, I saw people talk about this, that like that scene, like people didn't like that scene because why was it needed? I guess to say like, hey, cheating's bad, Wonder Woman.
I guess, yes, you can even say that for the Dreamstone.
Yeah,
Because
it's basically a giant cheat.
Yeah, but even then, you could do that a different way. Like, you could maybe make it even like a flashback or something. Like, I don't think it needed a whole scene just for that.
I think it's just to show Themyscira because people like Themyscira, you know? It's a
The
cool
women.
place. That's what a lot of people liked from the first movie. They're like, Themyscira, awesome.
Would include Themyscira some. Okay, in that case, if you wanted to show Themyscira, then just do a story with Cheetah, because even you said, oh wait, that's someone else. I'm confusing the
No.
Justice League.
Cheetah wanted to find Paradise Island.
But I thought she was on there. Like, she was.
No.
Yeah, so
Oh, you're thinking
that's
of
why.
like Cersei.
Yeah.
Yes, she's an Amazon.
So it's kind of like, I feel like that's like the only way that they could. Even the armor in itself, it didn't really get much use anyway.
No. I don't
But
see
like
it,
the
I
end
don't
of
see
the
it a lot in
5
the
seconds,
comics, though,
she's
either.
already like sitting on there, like giving some monologue about love and all
Just like
this
the
kind of
first
stuff, while Maxwell is like,
Well, that's a lot to her character, though. People like to think that she's just a fighter and stuff, but no, she talks it out. She likes to.
But she only talked it out. The only battle she had was with Cheetah, and like you said, yeah, they don't do hand to hand, but that whole sequence didn't make sense to me. There was a lot of scenes that didn't make sense to me.
I thought it was okay. The movie's a 7 to 8 out of 10 for me.
7 to 8 out of 10.
If I think about it too much, some things. Well, that reminds me. Like some people pointed out that in that Olympic sequence, Diana's competing, and like even her mom's like, yes, Diana's competing. But in the first movie, like her mom forbade her to even train at all. That was the whole premise of the movie. Like the whole first half, like the first third of the movie, she couldn't train, and her aunt was training her in secret. But then in the beginning of this movie, she's openly competing.
DC cannot seem to make up their mind. I feel like there's another way to show Wonder Woman trying to cheat as a kid than a triathlon. Or an Olympic or whatever.
How else are you going to treat? It's an island of warriors, and they do this every year.
It could be a game within little girls,
She's the only little girl on that island.
Are they just born women adults?
Yeah,
like
well,
adults?
like they were molded by clay by Zeus as adults.
But there's no newborns?
No.
They're
There's no
they've-
men.
But they've all been alive this whole time?
Yes.
The
They're
same
immortal.
people?
Yes.
That's kind of boring, dude.
I told you, if you leave Themyscira, you lose your immortality.
That's crazy. Okay. Well, then in that case, you could still show her cheating another way.
The only natural-born Amazonian, well, in that
Because her mom wanted to get
in the
banged.
universe was Wonder Woman from Queen Hippolyta. I am Diana, Princess of Themyscira, daughter of Queen Hippolyta.
Okay, so that's Wonder Woman 84. Oh, we can talk about. This sounds like we have a list, well, we do, but like it sounds like we're
I'm
just
not looking
checking
at
off. Martian Manhunter being in the Snyder Cut. I know he's one of your favorites.
Love me, Martian Manhunter.
What do you think he's gonna be doing in that? Because he wasn't in it at all in the last one, like in the original.
He's in Man of Steel. He's in BVS because he's a character that's already in those movies. He's the general in those movies.
And how does someone that's that guy?
Yeah.
Which is a
Yeah, he was
photo of him.
in Man of Steel, BV, was he? Yeah, he was in BVS, and I don't think he was in Justice League though. But he was in Man of Steel and BVS.
But did they explicitly say
No.
this is Martian Man? Then how did people
Zack
know?
Snyder said it afterwards. This is when like
That sounds a lot
this
like
is the
a
whole
J.K.
thing
Rowling
when-
kind of thing to do. It's like that guy. Yeah, that guy was Martian Manhunter, but you didn't know.
It's because it's like this was during the whole thing where like people want like release the Snyder cut, and Zach was doing a whole thing on Twitter like every now and again he would release stuff he had planned for his movies, and people like theorized to begin with that he was Martian Manhunter, and someone like asked him, was like, is he Martian Manhunter? He's like, actually yes, and like he has like drawings that he had set up and blah blah blah. So I mean, I think that guy could be a good Martian Manhunter.
He definitely looks like,
But
he
it's
could
like
be.
it is an odd route to go.
To make him a general?
Yes.
Because
I mean,
what purpose does he have? Like, if you think about it, why can't Martian Manhunter just be like some character and, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a better way to introduce the guy.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the whole thing where they gave Zach the reins so early on and allowed him to kind of do whatever he wanted, but then people didn't like what he was doing, so they had to reel him back. So a lot of stuff he had planned got cut or just are not a thing anymore, or are starting to be a thing with the whole release the Snyder cut thing. But that's also reminiscent to going back to Supergirl, because Martian Manhunter is also in the Supergirl show. Is they tricked you in that show with because they made a character, Hank Henshaw, who to my comic book fans people know that he's Cyborg Superman. So they made Hank Henshaw the director of the DEO, which is like a government organization that solely like looks out for alien threats. So Hank Henshaw recruited Supergirl to work with the DEO, and throughout for half the season you're like thinking, well, he's Cyborg Superman, what's gonna happen? He's Cyborg Superman, what's gonna happen? And then you reveal that he was actually, and like they would even hint, like you see him with red eyes sometimes, and you're thinking that's the laser vision, he's Cyborg Superman. But then they change it, and he's like that he's Martian Manhunter actually, and that the original Hank Henshaw died on a mission, like with.
So he was being him.
Yeah. So was like this this was like introduced like a DEO mission to. They like saw reports of a Martian, so like, oh, we gotta kill this Martian. So they sent Hank Henshaw and Supergirl's adoptive dad. I don't remember his name, but and they found him, but he was peaceful, like Superman, like Supergirl's dad. I'm just gonna call him Mr. Danvers because that's what he knows his last name is. So Danvers was like, oh, he's like a nice guy. Like I think Martian Manhunter saved him, and they like had a talk. And he's like, no, he's like a nice guy. And Hank Henshaw wanted to kill him. Like, no, he's an alien. We need to kill him. And then after some accident happened, and then he died. And then like Danvers is like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't bring you back with Henshaw dead. Then they're for sure gonna kill you. And he's like, don't worry, I will shapeshift and I will become Hank Henshaw. So yeah, that's how they introduced Martian Manhunter. They like was already a established character, and they changed it. He's Martian Manhunter.
Okay.
Then they later got revealed to the whole DEO, and then now he's John Jones in the show.
Jean.
So, but now in the Snyderverse,
which is its own thing because it's trash.
well, it's the DCEU technically, but
now
that
the
name is dropped
DCEU.
because now it's just the DC Multiverse, which is like including movies like the Joker and all that stuff. Like these movies
I hope
are
they do
just,
something with the Joker and the Batman, because that would be
they're
great.
not gonna do that. I can already.
So much
That's the whole thing with their plan, is that like Joker and the Batman and Justice League are counted as their own Earths.
The Joker and the Batman separate
Earths.
Okay.
It's so, because this is like if you watch the DC fandom, they kind of talked about this. I don't know if they talked about it more. I didn't see any interviews where they talked about it more, but they basically describe it's kind of like when I told you that what they did in the comics to get rid of all the Earths and then bring it back was because it was a lot. Like, and it was a lot. So it was a lot at first, and they condensed it, and then they wanted people to create stuff, so they brought it back. So this is kind of what they're doing. They want people to create stuff with these characters. So that's why they're doing the multiverse. So that's why you had like Todd Phillips, who made the Joker, and now you're having Robert Pattinson's The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, or that is the name. Like, they're giving Matt Reeves to make that movie, and yet that makes sense, like, to do all that stuff. And there's probably going to be projects in the future with just characters, and and it may not even be connected, but it's like just fun stuff to do. And it's like not stuff that we us DC fans don't want. We want a nice cohesive universe to
like Marvel.
Yeah, basically, to like see all these big events. But you can still do that with this DC Multiverse plan. It's just that it's going to make it a little confusing for kids.
Definitely.
For sure, because when I was a kid watching these movies, The Dark Knight Rises and Man of Steel were basically out around the same time. And I was like, and when this happened, it's like, oh, so they can do a Justice League movie now. Batman and Superman there's two movies that, around the same time, they could do it. But no, because the Nolan verse something. That's another thing. Part of the DC Multiverse is the Nolan verse movies. So now.
Wouldn't that be Arkham?
No.
Wait.
That's the video games.
No, wait. Oh, I always get those mixed up, bro.
The Dark Knight trilogy, you mean?
Yes.
But if you're a DC fan, that's even more confusing because there's a set of comics called the Dark Knight trilogy.
Well, didn't he base it off of that?
That's
what. Well, he based it off a good amount.
Where BVS was based off after the Dark
No,
Knight.
because remember that video that the cosmonaut one? He was saying how, or I don't know, but I feel like he said that Christopher Nolan did his research when it came to Batman, and took aspects of different.
Yeah, it was more like Christopher Nolan did his research, but he didn't include any major story points in them. I mean, like, you can argue like with the whole racial cool thing, but still, that's not like a very common thing. Like, he just made like, I'm gonna make Batman, I'm gonna make it my way, and that's it. I mean,
which is quite iconic.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like you can find stuff that are like, oh, this is similar to this comic, or this is similar to this comic, but for the most part, I think just Christopher Nolan was just like, I'm just gonna do this, and yeah, that's it. And he made good movies.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen them.
Wait, that's our next on our list to watch all three of them.
Oh my God.
I have them on Blu-ray. But and they were good movies. Dark Knight Rises is definitely the weakest out of the three. People go, it's Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and then Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises is the last one?
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises is the last one.
Okay.
Which, that brings me to my boy Bane. I want him in a movie, and I want him done right. I mean, yeah, I like the Nolan-verse Bane.
You're going to say Tom Hardy didn't do it right? How dare you?
If you think about it, he's not
really Bane. When I saw him, Bane. I thought he kind of looked
like
not
the
that
mask
great.
is in Bane. I mean, yeah, it's like iconic now, and the whole voice is iconic because it's even in the Harley Quinn show. That Bane is like has aspects of it, but like because like Bane is one of my favorite villains. I love him so much, but he's been done wrong in all of his live action.
If you were to make a Bane movie, what are the key components you would?
He's got to be smart, and he's got to use venom, and he's got to be from Santa Prisca.
Okay.
Because that's such a huge part of his
Why?
thing. The Dark Knight movies kind of did this right with Bane, is that he was born in a prison because he was serving his father's sentence. Because I think his dad was, I don't know, his dad was either dead or something. Like
beef.
Something. His dad committed a crime, and they couldn't find him. They couldn't incarcerate him, so they incarcerated his mom while she was pregnant with Bane, and he was born in the prison, and she died from the birth or something.
Oh my God.
And then he was raised in the prison.
That's why he's like very...
Yeah, that's why he's tough, and that's why he's smart, because while he was in the prison, he worked his body as well as his mind.
Is there a specific storyline you would want to add?
I mean, Bane doesn't have a lot of story. I mean, he does.
Well, there's got to be a reason why he's your favorite villain.
Because he can be both Batman's physical equal and mental equal.
Mental?
Yeah, because he's just as smart as Batman.
Oh, okay.
So
just smarts.
Yeah, a lot of characters are just one or the other. Like the Riddler is just his intellectual equal. That's a better word I was looking for. but he's not his physical one. Ra's al Ghul is his well, actually, Ra's al Ghul is also like his physical and intellectual equal. But like, I don't know. Bane has a lot of cooler moments because, he cheats with Venom basically a lot of the time.
Steroids, basically.
Yeah. So he's not only his physical equal, he's also his physical superior a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so Batman has to think of ways how to take him out. But also Bane adapts to all the times he's taken him out. Mm. So Bane just comes back harder.
And he only uses Venom when he's gonna fight him, right? When he fights overall?
This is different in a lot of times because a lot of times he doesn't like to use Venom because, Venom's a highly addictive drug and it has a lot of adverse effects.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like his intelligence, like
while he's like more
Venom,
like...
Yeah, while on a lot of Venom, he's not as smart.
Okay.
So he makes mistakes. So then that's when he stops using Venom. But then, he's addicted, so he still has to use it sometimes. Or then sometimes he's
he uses more he uses it more as like a high, kind of?
In Rebirth, it was described that, like, he was extremely addicted to it. And it's like, it's not like most drugs.
Mm-hmm.
With that addiction, it, like, physically hurts to not be on Venom.
Ooh.
It's like an excruciating pain to not use Venom. And it a lot of time, and so to overcome that, it was a mental like trick, but it wasn't like Bane by himself. He had the help of Psycho Pirate to that's another character.
Okay, I'm like, okay,
I don't know a lot
want to
about
get
Psycho
into
Pirate,
that guy.
So don't ask me. But this is like early on in Rebirth, but like and Batman needed him for something. This was for Gotham Girl or something. And anyways, but like Bane described, like it was excruciating pain. So like in that beginning, he fought Batman without Venom and he won. Well, Batman let him win, but he won. But since he took Psycho Pirate, he needed to use Venom, so he came back to Gotham in the I Am Bane story arc for anyone who wants to read it. No one, or people who already read it. But in the I Am Bane story arc, he came to Gotham and fought him. He lost, but he had to use Venom because he was addicted to it.
Would you want to use like the suit that he's usually known for, like the mask? And
yes, he needs the iconic mask. He needs the basically white skull with red eyes. Mm-hmm. He could not be wearing a leotard, like a wrestler leotard. I don't care. He just needs the mask, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, the Bane I also don't like, but I've kind of like grown to be okay with was the Arkham Origins Bane. Because
that's the video game?
Yeah, that's the video game.
Okay.
The thing with Bane in that one is that we had her to like play Arkham Asylum a bit. She hasn't gotten to that point where she fights Bane. But in that one, in Arkham Asylum, he's not as smart, but he's obviously on a lot of Venom. But in that one, he's on Titan, which is like in like a different strand of Venom.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not as smart. Then in Arkham City, he's a little bit smarter, but like you don't fight him that much. And then in Arkham Origins, he's like full like smart. Like he's a smart guy. He's like a tactician.
Okay.
And like he figured out Batman's identity, which he does do in the comics. I didn't know at the time when I played the games. Like, what? He found out Batman's identity? This game sucks. It's like that's what I thought. I was like, I know he's not gonna. That's another thing because Arkham Origins was a prequel, but it was like the third game to come out, and you know that Bane doesn't know Batman's identity because you've faced him in 2 different games and doesn't mention it. But then in Arkham Origins, like, oh, he found out his identity. What's gonna happen? And then at the end of the game, he uses like an unstable strand of Venom to like make him huge.
He forgets it.
Oh
my god.
Batman beat him and he forgets him. One goes like, Batman, I need to beat Batman. I need to kill Batman. Like that's the end of him, and he doesn't remember. And it's like
how convenient.
Yeah, how convenient. It's like I knew that was gonna happen. That's like the part of the reason why I didn't like it. But as I've replayed it, I'm like, oh, I like the game. I think it's an okay game. I think it needs a sequel. Okay. You could do that, but I don't think it's gonna get it because because of Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad killed the Justice League.
Right. So here, talking about that, is the list of, which you also had something you wanted to talk about.
Oh,
it's a list of the 2021 stuff.
I take back my segue.
Well, it's kind of, it is kind of have to do with this. There's a Snyder Cut, which we really just went in on it,
Yeah, that's going to come out in March.
It's what, 3 hours? 2 hours?
It's going to be 2 parts. and I think it's 4 hours total, 2 parts. I think. I don't remember. I don't know if it says it there, but.
And so okay. Along with that, there's also the Suicide
The Suicide Squad sequel.
It's a reboot.
It's a sequel.
It's a reboot. I'm sorry.
Even
I stick
it
by
even
that.
says it in there. It's the not sequel.
Okay, but I mean, come on. Do we really take anything Snyder says?
No, that's not Snyder. That's
Who?
James Gunn.
Oh,
The
my
Suicide
bad.
Squad's James Gunn is directing that, and David Ayer directed the first one.
As you can tell, I'm not really versed in this.
James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy,
know.
1 of 2, and is now.
I kind of
directing
trust
the
him in
Suicide
that
Squad.
sense.
I do.
Yeah.
And they gave him free reign in that movie. They said, I think he asked though. He's like, "Can I use any character I want?" And they said, "Yes." They just gave him the bin. He's like, "Pick one." So he picked an array of characters. Some I haven't even heard of.
Hey, James Gunn, what characters do you want? Yes.
Yeah, because he's got.
I mean, Jared Leto's Joker's.
Yeah, well, he's what we got,
Blech.
and we're probably gonna have him for the foreseeable future.
No. I thought he was done, or they kicked him out. He was all butthurt because he didn't play Joker in the Joker film.
I think he doesn't like that people don't like him, but
Bruh, he's so
as
gross.
far as I know, there haven't been comments of whether or not he's not coming back or not.
I'm just gonna hurt you really
bad.
You were gonna go on.
I'm
Continue.
I'm gonna say I didn't like his Joker voice.
No.
Everyone has a Joker voice. He did not have a good
Mark
one.
Hamill's, I agree, is top
the
tier.
quintessential Joker voice, but a lot of people have really good ones too.
I mean, the guy who's playing the Joker in the Harley Quinn show is really good.
Alan Tudyk.
Yes, I love Alan Tudyk.
I love Alan Tudyk too.
I could see why you like him so much.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Doom Patrol. We haven't even finished that show.
No, we haven't finished season 2, and season 3 got greenlit. They're gonna make a season 3.
We gotta catch up. Honestly, the second season is kind of boring. It kind of feels like it's staying in the same place.
I think we watched it in a weird headspace. That's why we started it kind of it was the start of the pandemic, So we
should try again.
We were kind of jaded, and we're like, do we want to do this? We were doing stuff new. We're going over to each other's houses to watch stuff. So we were just in a weird spot.
Yeah. Let's not talk about the pandemic in this, only if it has to do with politics, because I am so tired of hearing
now
of COVID.
Time to talk about the politics section.
Anyways, but yeah, him and at least the first season of Doom Patrol.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Love it.
I liked him. I just wish he actually looked like Mr. Nobody from the comic version. I think
I can understand why they didn't do it though.
It would be hard though.
Yeah, it's really hard because he's like a squiggly.
He's like a stick.
He's squiggly lines basically.
Yeah.
And you got Alan Tudyk, you got to show Alan Tudyk,
Yeah.
so they had to show some of his face.
He's pretty great.
I think it was a good enough recreation of him.
Yeah, I just personally, I would have liked the squiggly lines, but
with the 2 eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, come on, from the show, it isn't the weirdest thing they did in that show.
It's not. Animal, vegetable, mineral man.
I don't want to hear about that name ever again. I hate that character. I've never learned about him, but I hate it.
I first heard about him in Batman Brave and the Bold, which is a great show. It's kind of underrated. Great show. Great Batman show.
I gave the first episode a shot and I didn't like it.
Love that show.
Okay.
It's got a great ending. That hit me in the feels.
What is it?
It was just a goodbye. Batman and the whole cast, all the characters you seen were goodbye. He's later addressed the camera. He's like, we want to thank you for being along all these years of what we did and
stuff.
Yeah, it was just I watched it and I was like, oh, this is kind of sad. Even though I knew the show ended. It was years ago it ended, but I didn't think it was gonna be like that.
It's kind of one of those moments when you finish a whole series and you're like, oh.
Yeah, which I don't get that often.
Okay.
When watching series.
Yeah, I mean it is a kids show, so I kind of get why they did sentimental.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, in this very paragraph, because I'm reading off an IGN article, it says that the Peacemaker actually has his own spin-off series.
Yeah, he's gonna get a HBO Max spin-off series.
What do you think about that?
I don't know anything about Peacemaker, but it's John Cena.
That's a blessing in and of itself.
I mean, like I said, I don't know anything about him, and I haven't seen what he's gonna do. But I'll only imagine that they probably did it because it's John Cena, and maybe because he had like a significant role in the movie. That's my assumption of why they're probably doing it, because I can see why they're not doing it.
You don't think they're trying to like spoon feed it or like force feed it to the audience so that they like him just because it's John Cena?
I mean, that could be a route, but it's like,
because that's kind of what I feel like. I know, sorry, I keep interrupting you, but that's sort of like with the whole Marvel shows that are coming out, bruh.
That's what I was gonna talk
I
about.
get it, but calm down, you know. And also with like the Star Wars stuff as well, like the Mandalorian, chef's kiss, really great. But and the Bad Batch, I'm pretty sure you're gonna look forward to that. Ooh. That's for another show or another episode, but I feel like sometimes they're taking it too far, you know.
See, I would have thought the same thing, but this is talking about Star Wars though, like in reference to Star Wars, that someone pointed out that it's actually a good thing for Star Wars to have all this stuff, because Star Wars was such like, it's like a big thing, and it's only been movies most of the time.
That's true.
And with the whole thing with the sequel trilogy is that it had to live up to the precedent. Like, it had to be really good. But
I mean, Adam Driver was the best part of that.
It had to be really good. But if they just release a bunch of Star Wars stuff, you could just pick or choose what you like.
That's true. Kind of like how people like Clone Wars and all that stuff.
Like, that's the start of it. But now with releasing all this stuff, not everyone's going to watch it. Like, only the hardcore fans are going to watch it. But, like, the casual fans, they're just going to pick and choose what they want. And you don't have to be really upset if you don't like it, because you could just watch another thing.
That's true.
That's a good thing that they did, I would say. It's not my own point. It was actually from another podcast. Play, watch, wait, listen.
I mean, I was going to say something about that. Oh, my God. Oh, I mean, yeah. But it's kind of tough, though, because at least with the second season of The Mandalorian, I feel like, well, I mean, even a little bit with the first season, you kind of need to know about Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever, and to kind of get the impact of, because I remember, this is spoiler alerts for the ending of The Mandalorian, so if you haven't watched it, like I guess weeks. Just skip the next 2 minutes.
We're at the point where, like, you can talk about spoilers, and you shouldn't get mad.
Fair warning, you know? I actually have a coworker who hasn't seen it at all.
Yeah, I know people who haven't seen it, but at this point, you gotta, like, know spoilers are gonna happen.
I know. Yeah, it's like when you go on Instagram and then you...
3 weeks after it came out, it's at that realm where you can talk about it.
That's like what happened with Endgame, right? Or something. They're like, okay, we can talk about it now.
You just gotta wait, wait a little bit, and then you can start talking about it.
Okay, anyways.
You still have to preface, though, spoilers.
I had seen an article. I didn't read it, but I saw something where...
I've seen it. I didn't read it. I read the headline.
Did you read it? No.
No.
I did. And he asked a foreign country to interfere in our election.
We're not talking about politics.
But Jordan Klepper is amazing, okay? If we could have it on the show.
Shout out,
Jordan. Please. Anyways, but with mostly the second season of The Mandalorian, if you don't know about the lore when it comes to Clone Wars, then a lot of it just kind of flies over your head, because when they were, for example, again, this is the spoiler thing, when he fought, I forget his name, the dude with the cape, with the black sword.
Moff Gideon.
Yeah, that guy. See, it makes it sound like I don't know anything, but I swear I know what I'm talking about.
She's just bad with names.
Yeah. Him, Moff Gideon, and then Bo-Katan was like all butthurt about it because he won. It turns out that Mandalorians have to fight for that frickin' sword. So to me, I didn't know what the problem was, but in the show, the ambience was kind of like everyone knew what was going on, so it was kind of like
Except for Din. Except for Din, he's like, just take it.
Yeah, I was literally Din. I was like, just take it. What's the point?
That's probably why they did it. They had a room of people who knew, like, oh, and one person
like the guy with the cowboy hat.
Yeah, one person was just like, oh. So it's like it's encompassing the whole audience. But
I get it.
It is a bigger impact if you have watched this stuff.
Yeah, like but you kind of get the situation. Like for you, I feel like you instantly understood. Like they have to fight almost to the
I
death
think
or
I
to the
literally
death.
gasped. I was like, oh, she's got to beat him.
Yeah, and I was here like, huh? Like, just give her the sword. So, you know, in that sense, you would kind of need to watch Clone Wars. And, like, what if you don't like Clone Wars? Then in that case,
Which
you're just kind of...
You don't watch it because you don't like the animation.
The animation looks gross. I'm sorry.
It grows on you.
Whatever. And, well, you know, that kind of happened with me. And, what's the DC name? What's the name? It's the show that I didn't want to watch.
Young Justice?
Yeah, that one. It escaped me. For Outlaws, right?
Outsiders.
Outsiders. Oh my god, Outlaws is the one with Red Hood, right? But yeah, I didn't like the animation at first, but then it grew on me.
Why?
It just looked like too like you know, like frame by frame kind of thing. But then I remember this is hand animation. It's not freaking Pixar. Like, you know, deal with it. Anyways, but yeah. So in that situation, I feel like, what if you don't like Clone Wars? Then it doesn't have the same impact. But in this article, I also saw was talking about fan service and if they did it correctly.
I'd say they did. They had enough fan service to appease this hardcore fans and not too much to confuse casual fans.
Do you think it was like key that they included Luke as the Jedi who was founded?
I didn't think it was key. I was open to anyone actually picking him up. Makes sense that it was him though.
Because he was one of the more prominent ones.
Yeah, he was the one that made the new Jedi Order and lost it because of Kylo Ren.
Bruh, I swear if it comes out that this fool killed him.
Kylo Ren killed Grogu.
Low key though, I mean that's kind of what they're insinuating if you think about it.
I mean he doesn't have to. Just like Leia didn't finish her training and just went to be a mom, Grogu doesn't have to finish his training and he can go
but he
be a
obviously
Mandalorian.
wanted to.
Yeah, because that's all he knew. He was trained at the Jedi Temple all his life.
Anyways, but yeah, so.
Oh, my phone. We were talking about Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but we were talking about them force feeding Peacemaker to the audience.
I don't think it's forced.
Okay.
I mean, now I don't. We don't know. We'll have to wait till the movie comes out.
That's something about you that's just like, we don't know, we have to wait.
Yeah, I reserve my judgment till I actually see something.
Oh yeah, the Batman, right? Robert.
Edward Cullen from Twilight.
Oh my
That's
god.
what my sister's been all about. I want to watch the Batman just because of Edward Cullen.
Gross, dude. Anyways, but yeah, he's also going to get his own spin-off, which apparently also has Gotham City Police Department.
He's not going to get a spin-off. The Gotham...
It says an HBO Max spin-off show set in the world. Oh, the world.
It's just,
my bad.
It's just the GCPD that's getting its spin-off.
Would that just include Gordon?
It can.
But, like, why would you do it on the police?
Because they're just as big as a part of the mythos as Batman is.
And then Black Adam.
It's kind of like what Gotham tried to do.
Oh, but that's like show. Back in the day, right?
Yeah, it's when like Bruce was still a kid. But then they shoot in all these Batman villains. That's why I didn't watch the show because I like it's
an Elseworld, that's why.
I
mean, that's what you could say with the Joker.
Yeah, it's considered an Elseworld, but like it was in the time where like all this stuff was coming out and like the CW shows were gonna be like its own universe. It's not a CW show, it's a Fox show, but still.
Oh, I thought it was CW.
Yeah. Well, Supergirl wasn't a CW show at first. It was an ABC show. And then it got moved to CW for season 2.
Anyways, proceed.
But yeah, I didn't watch Gotham because like it should have done what this GCPD show is gonna do, where it's just gonna focus on the police.
What is Gotham about?
Gotham is like it started that way, like focusing on like
the city.
Yeah, the city and the crime families and all that. But then it just delved into like, let's bring in the Joker. Let's bring in Bane, which was Bane's dad actually in that show. Let's bring in the Penguin, but the Penguin kind of makes sense.
I mean, it fits the aesthetic of the show.
Because Penguin's been around for a long time, so it makes sense that he was a crime boss at that time. But it's like, let's bring in the Riddler, which kind of makes sense, but it kind of doesn't, because in some iterations the Riddler was.
You would have to bring in immortal people for it to make sense.
I don't even know if they brought in Ra's al Ghul.
Oh my god.
In that show. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I don't know.
Okay.
But that's probably part of why I didn't watch it. And like, yeah, they like could have done what this GCPD show is probably gonna do. But what they're doing is that Batman is actually around in that show.
GCPD?
which is like, it's like a cool aspect of
Would
to
it be
explore.
Robert Pattinson's Batman then? Because it's in
I
the
think
Batman.
It is. I think.
It says set in the world of Batman.
Yeah, so I think
it has to be him.
Yeah, so they can pretty much do what Agents of Shield couldn't. They could do whatever they want, and not care about the greater universe. Where Agents of Shield had to care,
yeah.
and they just.
I remember watching the first
mess.
couple episodes because diehard fan at the time, and I was like, I hate this show.
I watched like the first 10 minutes, like, I don't want to watch.
Yeah,
this.
I was just kind of like a couple episodes in, and I was like, I don't really like this show.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Black Adam, which I thought was ATOM, but it's ADAM.
Black Adam.
Which is
Hell
Dwayne
yeah.
The Rock Johnson.
Kite
Do you
Man,
think
hell
he's?
yeah.
Oh my god. Do you think he's a good fit for Black Adam?
Yeah, I think he could do it. I mean,
no hesitation.
I think it's kind of different for him.
I mean, what can you say except you're welcome?
What does that mean? Oh my god. I mean, it's a different role for Dwayne to play because he's mostly the good, charismatic guy.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what he does. He does like the charismatic.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, the charismatic like guy everyone likes. But Black Adam is like someone that like a very few people like.
If he doesn't have the widow's peak and the eyebrows, I'm gonna be mad.
He's not because he's bald.
Okay, at least the eyebrows.
Well, that's what Dwayne does.
No, but both like this.
Nah. But yeah, I think it has potential. But they're also introducing the Justice Society in that movie,
Which is the old one.
which is
Right.
it was the first team.
Does Black Adam have a hood?
Sometimes he does more now.
Mm.
Most of the time he just doesn't have a cape.
He better have the pointed ears. Why does he have pointed
I
ears?
don't know.
Is he Egyptian?
Yeah. No, he's from Kondak,
What's that?
which is Egypt adjacent.
Jason.
It means it's close to Egypt.
Oh, just say it's a city next to Egypt. You don't have to.
Well, Kondak it's its own thing. It's a fictional city, but it's its own thing.
But you just grab a Sharpie and make the widow's peak.
I don't think they're gonna do that. But yeah, they've announced who Atom Smasher's gonna be in that show. I don't know if they've
Atom
announced.
Smash?
Yeah, he
For what?
He's gonna be in the Justice Society. Atom Smasher.
For Black Adam?
Mm-hmm.
You
So
said
they-
show, that's why. I was like, what?
Did I?
Yes.
Well, anyways, yeah, they have announced the Justice Society is gonna have Hawkman, Top, Atom Smasher, other people I don't remember, but I have all those.
Mm-hmm.
From what it looks like, it's good. They're gonna show Black Adam's origin. Then they show that he was imprisoned. Then he got out, and now he's around at the time of the Justice Society, which
Do you think they'll show Shazam? No, huh?
No.
Okay.
he's not a thing at that time. He's like
No.
probably not even
Something Sparkle Fingers. They never really called him
Captain
Shazam to begin with.
Sparkle
Say my name. Billy!
He wasn't even like born.
He wasn't even considered.
His parents were probably kids.
Yeah.
At that point, but I don't think they announced if
Maybe,
it's gonna be part of the greater DCEU. Like it's gonna exist within the same realm as the Justice League, which would be weird because it seems like in that universe as a whole, heroes just aren't a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and to have the Justice Society, a hero team is be kind of weird. But DC's done stuff like that before for like their shows and animated movies, so it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. Or it could just be part of the multiverse.
kind of straying away from Black Adam. I feel like it's weird that they're choosing these characters of all characters to make movies for. Because I feel like there's more iconic, like Batwoman, Batgirl,
I feel like
people like
just
that. So
doing
for
it.
them to choose Shazam out of nowhere I was like, huh.
Well, because Shazam's been rising in popularity, I feel like. And it's probably because DC's done the same few characters for years in their TV and movies, which is Batman, Superman, sometimes Wonder Woman, Flash, etc. Like, show there's other characters in the universe.
No, yeah, but
People
I mean,
love 'em.
Shazam. I mean, I guess you could say it's like a classic.
Shazam is a
They-
classic.
he was
He was
called-
more popular than Superman at some point.
He was called what?
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
He was for Wiz Comics. No, Fawcett
For
Comics.
Detective Comics.
It was Fawcett Comics on but his like it was Wiz, like the title was Wiz comic, whatever.
Okay. And your favorite Fast Boy, The Flash, has his.
He's gonna get a Flashpoint movie, which.
A Flashpoint? Oh my god.
I don't know if it's called that, but it's basically doing the Flashpoint thing. He's gonna go back in time. He's gonna see Michael Keaton Batman and all that stuff. And I think Ben Affleck is slated to be in it. I'm not sure though. Who knows what's going on with Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill at this point? They're really up in the air. Especially Henry.
I mean, Henry Cavill is no longer in the movies. He talked about that. He certified it.
Did he?
No,
Oh.
I was referring to the time that like people were.
Oh yeah, like people were like all like Henry Cavill's not gonna return, and then he releases an Instagram video of him like slowly revealing with the Superman theme, a Superman action figure, and like yeah, he's not out of the universe.
He's not going anywhere.
He's just not slated to do anything.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay. Like anything of significance.
Yeah, I think there were rumors he might have been doing something in one of these projects, but.
Do you think Ezra Miller would be a good Flash? I personally don't think so.
He's an okay Flash.
He's not really. He
He's
doesn't
kind of
scream
he's
Barry
kind of
Allen.
Bart Allen, if you think about it. He's a bit of a Bart Allen character.
Not even. Bart Allen is funnier.
You didn't even like Bart.
I didn't, but he grew on me.
But
what's
like,
the thing they say?
Crash.
Yes.
Moded. Feeling the mode.
I don't like Ezra Miller. I don't think he gives any type of Speedy Boy vibes at all.
I don't know. He's only been appeared in one movie.
He appeared in
Just League.
The Flash as well, the show.
Yeah, he did.
Which I guess I accidentally almost spoiled it for you, I guess.
I saw the full interaction already. I've seen the full interaction.
Then would you say that was his lightning bolt or something?
No.
I could have sworn
They're just two berries.
No, like the guy mentioned something about that was similar to a lightning bolt. He's like, you gotta remember something, blah, blah, and...
Are you talking about in BVS when you talked to Bruce?
No, I'm talking about the show.
I don't think,
Oh my god, never mind.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy.
Okay, Aquaman 2. Yay!
It's gonna be a thing. I don't have any thoughts. And Amber Heard is still gonna be in it.
Yeesh. What do you think about her? I know it's a sticky situation, but I feel like it's unfair because some men will get trashed and like no longer like Kevin Spacey got.
He was fully replaced CG.
Yeah.
Computer CG
I mean,
in a movie.
Obviously it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
He diddled little kids, but
Yeah.
it's not funny. Don't laugh.
I wasn't even laughing.
But I mean, some like Chris Brown, he'll never live down what he did to Rihanna.
But he's came back. Like people still listen to his music. He still.
It's not that great though. He came back for a bit, and then.
I mean, he's not as popular as once was, but I wouldn't say he's irrelevant.
But he hasn't really lived down like the whole Rihanna situation. So it's kind of like, why doesn't Amber Heard get treated the same way?
She does.
Not really.
Well, she get it. Not professionally.
She got casted in Aquaman, dude.
Yeah, not professionally. She does get, but she gets like from the fans.
Her comments are limited.
Yeah,
I remember.
Her comments are turned off on her Instagram.
Yeah.
From last I checked, but yeah, she's definitely getting like crucified for it, but just not
as much
career wise. Well, as this goes on, it probably will be affected.
I mean, is it still going on? I feel like it rose to popularity a little bit, and then now no one talks about it.
Well, it's because she's not doing anything.
Good.
The only thing she's doing is Aquaman.
Didn't she want like a better role or more?
I don't know. I mean, I liked the first Aquaman. Loved Ocean Master.
Orb.
And I mean, Black Manta is probably gonna come back. And that scientist that saved him. He's a significant character in the Aquaman mythos. I don't know.
I forgot
who he is,
that Boba Fett is in there.
Oh yeah, he's his dad.
That's it. That's all I need to bring up. I love my New Zealanders.
Okay. Aquaman 2, that's it.
Shazam 2.
Hell yeah.
What do you think they'll include Black Adam?
No.
Definite. What? Why?
They
Introduced him for a reason, don't you think?
I mean, they referenced him. And he's gonna get his own movie. I think. What's coming out first, Black Adam or Shazam?
Black
2?
Adam.
It is.
Well, at least it says Black Adam starring Dwayne
As
The
far
Rock
as we can
Johnson
tell, it will.
as the titular
We know about
antihero.
DC's
Had
dates.
a December 22nd, 2021 release date, but is currently undated and will likely see 2022. Shazam 2 originally had the November 4th, 2022 release date, but will now strike on June 2nd, 2023. So
Okay.
Black Adam's coming out first.
Okay. Well, we know how reliable that is because DC first.
But let's just say Black Adam comes
Okay,
out
let's say
first,
it does.
based on these dates.
I mean, Black Adam's been a thing for such a long time. Like, yeah, they referenced him in the first movie. They probably will just do another reference in the second movie because the way Shazam ended with that post-credit scene with Mr. Mind, they'll probably focus on him.
Okay.
But also, it's called Shazam 2: Wrath of the Gods, so it could also be dealing with his pantheon.
Like him actually interacting with them?
Yeah, he's done it before. He's actually interacted with those people in the comics. And he lost connection with them, and he had to get a new one in New 52.
Got it. Well, I mean,
Probably will have to do with Mr. Mind and that, though.
could you say Black Adam is... Well, because you said Black Adam is seen as a god by some people.
Yes, mostly the Kandakis.
So couldn't you say that that's sort of what they're referencing?
I don't think that will
Okay.
come into play.
Speaking of Shazam, why do you think they went with him, Dr. Savannah?
Oh, because he's just as big as Black Adam. It was
Hmm.
actually his first villain, I think.
Do you think
before
they
Black
made
Adam.
him too appealing to the eye? Would you have preferred to see the comic book
Yeah,
version?
he should have been ugly. Should have been short, stout, ugly.
You would have preferred that instead of the handsome actor that portrayed him? Which Kingsman, by the way.
I mean, they basically kind of adapted the New 52 Shazam.
Which has the more...
Yeah, like Dr. Savannah is not like...
A scrawny
Yeah.
scientist. Okay.
I mean, he is a little bit, but like he did get that he did get a similar power as he did in that movie.
Okay. With the eye.
Yeah, literally his eye was like electrifying. He's like, I can see magic. Then like he had the 7 deadly sins attacked Billy and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
What else?
The Green Lantern Corps. They were supposed to have a reboot apparently in 2020.
Yeah, they were supposed to have a movie, the Green Lantern.
But they
Corps
already
movie.
have a movie.
It was going to be a Green Lantern Corps movie.
But they already have a Green Lantern movie.
Shut up.
Why was that movie so bad? I don't understand.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out 2020. Like a lot of the stuff they first announced with BVS and all that, a lot of that stuff was supposed to be out, and they only released like 4 of the stuff they said: Aquaman, Shazam, and Wonder Woman.
Okay.
But it's good that it is actually going to be a thing because I love the Green Lantern comics, and I think it is better as a show, personally, because there's just so much to do. Like in a movie, it's just gonna be so watered down. As a show, there's like so much they can.
Well, they could do a
explore.
movie to introduce it.
They can. It's. I like I said earlier, like it can be a show, but it needs to at some point have a stand in the movies, if they still like do Justice League movies.
Okay.
Yeah, you just need to see a Green Lantern in it.
Is there anything that you would want them to do?
In the show, I feel like they should just not have focus on one Green Lantern, but a bunch of
Like
different Green
how...
Lanterns.
Or are you talking about the group?
Like the core as a general, like you could follow anyone, like Stel, Kilowog.
You mean other colors?
No, those are all Green Lantern Corps members. I'm saying other members, not just the humans.
Oh, see, because you said members, I assumed other...
No, I would have said other cores.
Oh, pardon.
Yeah, other members. I feel like I should focus on other members. But they can introduce the human ones and have episodes with them. But I feel like it should have a revolving...
Is there one you'd want, like other members? That you're like,
The
I would like to
humans?
see an episode. Oh, no,
the
like the
aliens?
other Green Lantern Corps members.
I want to see Stel. He's a robot. Also, F. Bell Sharp. And Moko.
That would actually be pretty interesting, I agree.
Yeah.
Which F. Bell Sharp is...
He is a blind Green
That
Lantern.
was a she. No, we established it was
Yeah,
a he.
it's a he.
Yeah.
Blind Green Lantern and his entire race has no concept of light because it is in a sector of space which doesn't have a sun. It's called the void, the obsidian void, completely devoid of light. So they've adapted to like not have sight.
But why is it F-Bell Sharp?
Because he just can't process
Light.
the meaning of light and green and lantern.
So they use sound.
Yeah, so he uses sound. He has his own oath with like has like sounds with like my ding or whatever. I don't know.
Okay. So moving on, because
Going on really long.
yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna want to listen to us for that long.
They tuned out in the first 20 minutes.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they heard DC. Like, I'm not listening to that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hear 40 minutes of this guy defending why DC movies are okay.
Listen.
Okay, HBO Max, a lot of HBO Max.
Yep.
Justice League Dark.
Cool.
Is a show featuring the Justice League.
Oh,
Dark.
it's a show?
What is Justice League Dark?
It is the magic version of the Justice League.
Oh.
So people like John Constantine, Zatanna, Etrigan, Swamp Thing.
Martian Manhunter.
No. Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
She's in the Justice League Dark comics. She founded the team.
Oh, she has magic. Well, yeah, I guess you could say her rope and stuff.
She like established like, yeah, I have a connection
Or
with magic.
lasso.
She's like, I have a connection with magic, but I just never explored it. It's not as deep as everything else, like with like Zatanna and John, which she's trying to learn.
Okay. Yeah, it says John Constantine, Dead Man.
Hell yeah.
Zatanna.
Oh yeah, Dead Man.
Who's Dead Man?
Oh, I can't wait to see Dead Man.
Who's Dead Man?
He's a ghost, basically.
These names, dude.
He was a circus performer who got killed during his act.
So one of Nightwing's
Yeah.
parents.
No, not his parents, but like, yeah. In the Injustice comics, Nightwing took up the mantle of Dead Man after Dead Man was killed.
Dead Mouse.
That's Dead Man.
That looks like the Daredevil.
No! He's Dead
Literally
Man.
the same
Dead
concept,
Man.
except he only has one D.
Oh my god. But yeah, he's a ghost. He like, he's,
Can he go through walls?
he can possess people. He possesses people all the time to like affect the
Do
real
people
world.
see him?
Only magic users. And the dead. But also
Oh,
like
so like those things from Harry Potter.
the Dementors.
No, not the Dementors,
Oh.
the horses.
Oh yeah. I forget their names. But John can actually like do a spell to like reveal dead men to people. Whatever.
Okay. J.J. Abrams, I guess, is directing it.
Oh, cool.
So I guess Black Lightning, season 4.
Mm-hmm. CW show.
Oh, that's
stopped
why I've
watching,
never heard of
like
it.
in the middle of season 2.
Legends of Tomorrow, that's still a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Superman and Lois.
Yeah, that got announced.
What do you think about that? Nothing.
Cool, I guess.
You don't really care.
No, not really.
Okay. Comics for 2021, which you're really behind on, by the way.
I am a year
Future
behind.
State. Any thoughts on that? Despite you being.
As far as I can tell, it's a cool idea to like have a little break for the main continuity, like do a bunch of cool stuff and then go back to the main continuity, but including some of that. I think it's a cool thing to do.
You don't have much to say just because you haven't really read
Just
it.
because I'm so behind, I don't know a lot of the stuff leading up to it.
What's the last thing you read leading up to it?
Like Batman,
Bruh. Wait, what are you reading right now then?
Birds of Prey.
Why?
Just because I need to read Heroes in Crisis.
Then get it.
Oh yeah, I haven't bought it yet. I'll do that after.
Oh my god. Anyways, so video games, your other favorite. Gotham Knights. Thoughts? After months. A year pretty much.
Years.
After they posted that random thing. Which was Montreal?
WB Montreal. Same people who did Arkham Origins.
Okay.
They announced a co-op game featuring Nightwing, Red Hood, Tim Drake Robin, and Barbara Gordon as Batgirl.
Okay.
And it looks cool.
Okay.
But I'm afraid it's going to be too RPG-ish. A lot of stuff.
It's open world.
Yeah, as some of the Arkham games were. I mean, there's like a skill tree, gear system, all that. That could be good done right, but really annoying done wrong.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh my god. I don't think they had problems with that. It was just other stuff they had problems with.
They just didn't finish it. That's what it is.
It was announced like 10 years ago.
Oh, it has to do with the Court of Owls.
Yes.
So
Pretty
I
cool.
guess.
Pretty cool. Lightning round. Come on, we gotta wrap this up. Quick.
That's it. That's the only thing. What was the other game? There was another game.
Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, which is not gonna be this year. It's gonna be like maybe next year or 2 years.
How
from
come
now.
these games take very little to develop, but games like, well, I guess Cyberpunk you could
games
say,
take a long time to make.
but you're saying that this was already in the works? Well, yeah, because they
probably
announced
in
it.
works
Yeah.
years ago, and it's just now being finished.
Are you? So you're saying that right now they're working on video games that they're going to announce in
Yep.
like 5 years?
Yep. That's how video games are.
I thought video games were developed quicker.
No.
Dude. Like Raid Shadow Legends, who are the sponsors of this podcast.
I would take a sponsorship, but no, they're not sponsored. Don't worry, Raid Shadow Legends, if you want to sponsor.
No, I do. I was watching a YouTube video.
Oh my god. We don't have time for a tangent.
No. I was watching a YouTube video and this person went on for like more than half of the video about Raid Shadow Legends. I was like, bruh, I get it. It's probably a great game. No doubt about it. I don't want to hear about it though for half of the video.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Anyways, so that's pretty much it for today.
Cut.
You literally went over the levels. Stop. Look at that.
I'm gonna try and make a penis with the waveform. Whoa.